And we did that. And those of you who participated, I thank you very much. The residents met for 2 days straight, interviewing all the candidates. I still have that laryngitis. Then what happened, we took 2 aldermen, 2 senior aldermen. That was Alderman Tracy Keys and Alderman Tyrone Rogers. They went through all the applicants that, and we need a motion to appoint, to confirm my appointment for Janet Rogers as our city clerk. Thank you.
Motion to appoint Janet Rogers as, motion to appoint Janet Rogers as city clerk.
It's not appropriate or legal or ethical.
There is a motion. Is there a second? Second. We have a motion and we have a second.
Yes.
So, Madam Clerk, could you please hear a discussion? Excuse me, do we have a discussion among you?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Madam, Alderperson Chet, please.
Thank you. I just want to be clear, while I truly appreciate that we had a special advisory committee, you took note from all the alderpersons in order to push out a process that was community involved. My issue with this particular process is I don't know if we did it with true fidelity or true procedural thought process. Tonight we are, and if you recall at our last council meeting on February the 9th, we had 2 nominations for the acting mayor. Tonight, we're only having 1 nomination be put before us. And just from a procedural standpoint, this has nothing to do with a personal standpoint, again, procedurally. We should have had both candidates that were in the top 2, as you know, we discussed this,
I just want to make the best decision as possible. Thank you. I just want to make the best decision as possible. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is my debate on being fair.
Okay, thank you.
This is my debate on being fair.
Okay, thank you. To abstain voting. So with that being said, we have it was Alderman Smith, and then.
What are you gonna do? Yeah.
Okay, can you raise your right hand for me? I state your name. I, Janet Rogers, do solemnly swear or affirm, solemnly swear or affirm of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Illinois, and the laws thereof, and that I will faithfully discharge, the duties of the office of acting city clerk of the city of Harvey, the county of Illinois, to the best of my ability. We have this one. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we can just do it.
Clerk, would you please have your seat? Okay. Okay, she's gonna finish her job. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna start with public comment.
If she goes inside, we can go there. Yeah, let's do it.
First up is Ryan Sinwolski, followed by Glennis James Watson.
Let's see here. So where are we presenting from? Oh, the podium. Just want to make sure.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ryan Sinwolski, Harvey resident. Gosh, where to start tonight? I know a lot of things were voted on this evening, city council, but one thing that was not voted on was opening the books for the city. That means you should be posting all the receipts, all the statements, all the invoices involving our money and our resources, because it's public. Remember, this is not a private company. This is not your private company. You are here as our representatives. You are taking care of our resources. That includes land, money, all resources are all public. We need an immediate audit of city employees. We should be rehiring our essential workers. Recently, it took almost 12 minutes for firefighters to respond to the fire on Sibley because station number 2 was closed because we don't have enough. We have 3 to 4 firefighters on shift for a city of 6 square miles, which is not acceptable. There's also an animal left for dead on Sibley earlier this week because we don't have the animal control. What we do have is we have a whole bunch of people up here who are paid. They get paid $44,000 some a year, the alderman, plus $25,000 a year in their expense accounts. We also have Mr. Nolan Simpson and Ms. Korean Davis who are making big bucks with your taxpayer dollars. They get city cars to take home, but we don't even have police or fire to cover our basic needs. So it doesn't.
Hey everybody, I just started off with a video of showing how the clerk was voted, the interim clerk was appointed, and then I'll let my public comment finish, and then I'll start the show officially with you here.
It seems like there's no money. It seems like you're paying the bills somehow. How are they being paid? Where's all that towing money go? When you tow our cars for doing nothing and people pay $1,000 to $2,000 at a pop, where does that cash money go?
Need to figure out.
Because the business is asking them to pay $2,500 a month. Where does that money
TikTok.
go?
It's driving me freaking nuts.
Why does Shirley have a city car that we pay for? Why does she take 2 patrol officers off the street when they could be protecting us? We have 3 to 4 officers.
Good,
per
left.
shift.
I'm glad. Hey, I'm glad
For
you
our
popped
city.
in. Yes.
So, criminals just come on over. I mean, it's like an open invite. This is crazy. So, I mean, the Homewood mayor drives his own little car around. I've talked to him plenty of times. Why can't the mayor of Harvey do the same thing? If you really cared about residents, open the books. We don't know we're in a financial crisis. We got a surplus for all we know. There's a lot of money being paid out every month. There's a lot of bills being paid. How are you deciding which bills to pay and which not to? Did you notice how they always vote on paying money, getting money with grants, or land? It's always about money or land. But we never vote on opening the books and rehiring our essential employees. So, I mean, this just is not acceptable here. And like I said, don't lie to our faces and say you care about the city and you care about that we don't even have proper staffing levels when we don't know where any of the money's going at all. We can't believe anything you say. I want to see it on paper. And so do these hardworking residents.
You tell them, me.
Next up is Glennis James Watson, followed.
All right. Thank you all for joining me tonight. And thank you to my TikTokers. I don't want to ignore you guys. I'm here for both of you. Like I said, it's going to drive me freaking nuts. I literally am, I feel like I'm working 24/7, guys. I barely have time for myself to relax. Callum, Brian. Callum, you look cute, but you look like too cute to be real. Like, is that really you in the photo? I feel like you're I feel like that must be a bot or something. 78, yeah. Different perspective on the 78 after 15 years. Well, Ben, spill the beans and tell us, because I think that that is effed up. And it's probably mostly driven. And hey, hey, artist 811 here with us again. But yeah, I'd love to know more about that project. That would be interesting. So, headline tonight: did Harvey Clerk ever officially resign? Hello again, Mikey. Hello, artists. Yeah, don't be afraid if you're here. Say hello. Send me some hearts. Oh my gosh, I've gotten no hearts at all. You guys, I'm not feeling the love. Where's the love? And my Facebook and YouTube peeps, where's I need your likes, I need your subscriptions. You know, I am not a rich person, or your follows. That's the only way that I'm going to get any traction with the algorithm to get this news out there. Okay. This is real down and dirty local reporting, like on the streets, coming on just to say hi. No, I appreciate that. Definitely. Give me some hearts. Give me some your daily heart me's. Whatever you can do is appreciated, because the corporations and the politicians that they pay do not want to hear the kind of news that I report. Okay, so that means it's up to you, the people, to help me get this stuff out there. Please, please like, share, and subscribe. Sorry, I just had another random person add me. So I'm like, okay, hi, who's this? And you just never know. Sometimes it's nice people, sometimes it's real people, sometimes it's people trying to harass and bully. You just never know. Oop, get that out of there. Get that out of there. Okay. Thanks, artists. Oh, you got the #1 viewer badge, yeah. Nico to Coco. Damn, Nico, if that's really you, okay, you're ripped. Okay. So first time the 78's been privately funded, so we're all in, no tax money from the South Loop. That's okay, Benjamin. Well, after I finish this show, maybe you can talk, or after I finish my Harvey points, maybe you can share on that. If you want to come up, I can invite you as a guest and you can share. They won't see you on YouTube and Facebook, but they can hear you. So yeah, because I want to know. And for those of you tuning in, that's a huge development in the South Loop that they've been planning for years. And per usual, the businesses and the corporations that pay for the politicians, they're the ones that are set to be to most benefit from that. And the last thing they'll do is consider the people, the workers, and the environment. All right. No man is, scandal in Chi-Town. Yes, exactly. No man is more hated than he who speaks the truth. Plato. Yeah, it's true, but the truth shall set you free, as it says in the Bible. And, there's a lot of great quotes around that too. So I'm going to get an email. We can have a separate combo on that, and I can share all the, you don't want to share it publicly? L-F-O-L? I don't know what that means. Info? I'm trying to say info something. So I got an email, and I will show you the email. Give me a second here. As you just watched in the video, on February 23rd, there was a Harvey Special City Council meeting. We're supposed to have a meeting Monday, another meeting Monday too, by the way, which I still haven't seen the agenda for, which is Friday, so we should have gotten it by now. But interim mayor was voted on and an interim clerk. The question is, has anybody ever seen an official resignation letter from the current elected clerk, Rosa Arambula, who still has till next year to finish her term? Left Connect says, what's your email address? I have something I want to send you about AI bias results. Sure. Yeah. You can use Ryan at ryans-chicago.com, but I'll just send you to my website because it's just easier. It has all my contact info, ryans-chicago.com. So yeah, that's where you can find it, Left Connect. Hello. Hi, is it Dania? Dan? Where are you from, Dan? Larkin. Hello, Larkin. What's up, buddy? But yeah, Ben, why the secrecy, mister? What's going on? Oh, you're in Indonesia. Inan. Okay, cool. You got it. Okay, good. Let's connect. Okay, are you guys ready for this? So my question is, as all of us should be asking, thank you. Nice to meet you too. Thank you for coming. We're just talking some local Chicago area politics. So we're talking about Harvey, Illinois, which is a south suburb just south of Chicago. Beautiful, historic, former industrial town. Still has a lot of great people and businesses and history and historic buildings. I do historic preservation, but we are the victim of extreme political corruption. And so we've got to, hey, Margarita, we have to expose that and fight that. Otherwise, our city is never really going to be able to improve and, you know, for the people. I want to see the resignation letter for the clerk, right? How could you appoint a new one if the first one didn't officially resign? Per Illinois law, as far as I know, it says you need that letter. And actually, let me pull that up. Hey guys, welcome. If you're coming in, I'm doing a joint live with TikTok and YouTube. All right, puppy, chill, boo. Between TikTok and thank you for the likes, Inan. Thank you. Yeah, no one else is giving me any loves on the likes. Hold on, guys. Hold on. I'm pulling it up, okay? Give me a second. Okay. Because we're going to actually, I want us to take a look at this. And for those of you on TikTok, it's okay. I'm going to read. I know you can't, I'll read it aloud. I know you can't see anything, but I'll read it aloud. So if we look up Illinois law, it's 65 ILCS section 5/3.110-10-50, okay? I'll try to zoom in so it's big. Is that better, you guys? You can see better? Okay, here we go. Events upon which an elective office becomes vacant in municipality with population under 500,000, which Harvey is about 20,000. Vacancy by resignation. Vacancy by resignation. A resignation is not effective unless it is in writing, signed by the person holding the elective office, and notarized. Yeah, I think that's all we need for right now. That's the main part I wanted to point out. Again, I will read that again. So listen, this is from Illinois law. Vacancy by resignation. A resignation is not effective unless it is in writing, signed by the person holding the elective office, and notarized. Okay, got it? Understood? All right. Gosh, you guys are quiet tonight on YouTube. No comments? And how are my TikTokers doing? I think Ben's still with us. Everybody else got quiet. So basically, Illinois law says if you want to resign from a municipal position in a town less than 500,000 people, basically all towns except Chicago, it has to be in writing. I, of course, wanted to know all the details, right? So I sent a Freedom of Information Act request to the city of Harvey asking for such a thing. And I just got this back today. So this was regarding my request sent on February 23rd. My request said, please send a copy of the city clerk's official resignation letter. This is what City of Harvey said. The city has reviewed its files and has determined there are no responsive records to your request. After conducting a reasonably diligent search for records responsive to the parameters of the request, including searching pertinent physical and electronic databases and contacting records custodians best apprised of the location of prospective responsive records. The city searched to identify responsive records in its possession and custody yielded negative results. It's just their standard legalese, you know, of explaining, like, of saying like, oh, we don't have it. Francisco, hey, cutie. I've never seen you stop in, but I'll follow you. So remember that Liliana Gonzalez, she's the deputy clerk, and she has been the FOIA officer because every board has to have a FOIA officer in Illinois. She's been our FOIA officer for some years now. So according to her, there are no responsive records, okay? No. My website isn't working. What? Say what? We're going to look at that right now. Thank you for sharing because I'm going to pull that up right now. So let's go back, but give me a second first. I want to go back to this. Remember what I just shared? Illinois law says a resignation is not effective unless it is in writing, signed by the person holding the elective office and notarized. So if I sent a Freedom of Information Act request to Harvey and they said, we don't have that document, we don't have her resignation letter. Well, who else would have it but the city of Harvey? Hi, Ken, welcome. Don't be shy, guys. Say hello, say where you're from. I'm just doing a little local news update. So I would appreciate the love and the shares because I'm sharing stuff that the rich, corrupt people don't want anyone to know. So that's why I need your help to get this stuff out there. So the whole point is the city should have that documentation because the person who appoints the interim clerk, which is the mayor or the interim mayor in this case, works for the city. When you FOIA the city, that covers everything. They only have one. If you need fire, police, or any city departments, you go through Liliana Gonzalez, the deputy clerk. So if Illinois law says it's got to be written in official, and I ask the lady who's supposed to have all city documents, and she says they don't have the written resignation letter, my question is, did she ever really officially resign? We need clarity on this. This is not something that should be vague. And when you FOIA it, boom, it should be available. Just like that. So we need some answers, guys. Stooby Dooby. Oh, that's a fun name. Raul. Hey, Raul. Oh, Raul, you're cute too. Where are you from, Raul? Don't be shy. Smokey, Van Tuan. I can tell you're from Vietnam. Looks like Vietnamese name. Hi, Gunner. Inan, you're killing it with the likes. Thank you. Inan, where are you from? I have an update on how officials. Okay, you probably just didn't finish that. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, right? Okay, now let me address my website. How officials are trying to fix this. What are they trying to fix, Ben? All right, so when I pull it up, I'll show you Left Connect. This is what you should see, and this is what came up when I put that in. When I put in RinscapeChicago.com, this is what comes up. So what happens, Left Connect, when you put that up? And if you want to come up on the stage, Left Connect, to share and to show us what you're seeing on your screen, you can do that too. Do you want to come up, Left Connect? Use it, I mean email too, but it's more fun if you come up. I love having guests. Southfield Neighbors is in the middle of working with this major organization that wants to put a municipal. I told you, Ben, just to come on, I'll invite you anyway. I'll invite you. I invite you to join. Just join and explain it. Yay. Okay, I'm going to post the link, all right, for you to come up. Hold on. Give me a second. Invite guest. Copy. Paste. Okay. So that's the link you're going to click if you want to come up on stage. All right. But yeah, like I said, I just put it up there. I put Ryan'sGayChicago.com in and I got that. Come on up, Bienvenue. Don't be shy. You can tell us about the South Loop. All right. So you got Left Connect. So you just click on that link and it'll open up your browser with the camera and everything. Oh, it's my Irish friend who's been quiet. I still don't like, though, that you don't put your real name there. Okay, there he is. Wait, let me. Okay, yeah, now we can see you. Hey. All right, let me take this down. Welcome. And hold on 1 second before we get to you. Paul says, when a corrupt local government has been in power for several years, they label investigative gadflies like you and me as crazy, eccentric, and insignificant. How can we engage our silent neighbors? Always good questions, Paul. Yeah, I think the number one thing is just to keep. You keep getting cut off. Yeah, Ben, I told you, just come on the panel. They're not going to see you on Facebook, but I sent you an invite, but they'll hear you. But I think we have to keep speaking up. That is so important. And not just, complaining about Trump or these general federal things. Remember, the federal level is you can't really touch that. I'm not saying disengage, but I'm just saying these local things, they might be specific to each area, but like the themes are the same. It's all about rich people trying to control everything. They want all the resources. They want all the companies. They want all the land. They want us all to be slaves. So no matter where you live, you don't have to be in Chicago, you don't have to be in Harvey to understand this. But that's why we have to just keep speaking up. And Paul, I wanted to give an encouragement to you because you always speak up for the township and, corruption. Keep doing that because an inside source the other day told me, they're like, Ryan, what you're doing is working. They are so scared at the township. You have made them so nervous. And remember how I made those complaints after Nina Graham tried to call me a racist, and she got her male companion to try to come and start a fight with me and everything. So, hey, Chihuahua. So it is working, Paul. It is working. I think that's the only thing I can think of is, we just have to keep being like the pioneers, even though it's hard. And yeah, they come after us, with lawsuits and stalking and everything. But I can't think of anything else to do. And I think it does really make a difference. So. But yeah, Chihuahua, I'm on my YouTube too, so you're welcome to come on there, either one or both. But yes, let's connect. You want to so tell us, introduce yourself, tell everybody who you are.
Oh, buddy. Oh, well, I'm Rodney from St. Louis, Missouri, around those parts. And...
Yay! Welcome, Ryan's Gay Chicago. And Rodney, you have a passion for politics as well.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, you're cursed with that's good. Yay. We want people to get involved. We love St. Louis.
I mean, I hate politics, but what's that saying Nina Turner says, if you don't do politics is going to do you. So.
Oh, really? Oh, I never knew she said that, but that's a great quote.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Agree 100%. Do you want to... do you know how to share your screen? I was going to say you could share your screen and then show me what happens when you try to go search for it.
Let's see. How do I share this?
There should be an option there.
Present?
Like underneath the window. Yeah, you could try that maybe.
The present part. Share screen. There we go.
Russ. Hey, Russ. There you are. You found me here too. Ben Cottrell. Is he fighting corruption? Maybe. He vanished again. He got quiet. We found each other through a leftist group called Real Progressives. Which you can do a plug for them too, Rodney, while you're on. But did you figure out how to
that'd be good. Here we go. No,
okay.
Can you see it?
Yes. All right. Can't reach this page. Oh, okay. Interesting. Now what is
like it?
And the URL is just ryans.gaychicago.com?
Yeah, I just copied your link and I pasted it into the browser.
I know it sounds weird, but just try typing it out. See if that changes the difference. Puppy, because maybe I made it like a typo or something. Look who wants to put his big old face right in the camera.
And there's no apostrophe, right?
No. Look who's saying hello, Russ. And
is it .com?
yes.com. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Your link must be wrong.
Yay.
No, it's working.
Okay. Yay. Because at first I was like, what happened? Not sure how to join your video. Oh, you just accept. I already sent you the invite, Ben. I sent you the invite. You can also find me. Okay. I sent you the invite again to come up here, or you can find me on YouTube as well. It's under Ryan's Game Chicago. Same name. Russ, what are you doing? You said, how do I find them? Oh, working. Oh, you mean the website? Okay. Yeah, so why don't you actually take this as an opportunity on your screen? Why don't you tell and show us about Real Progressives while you're here?
Sure. Yeah, let me go ahead and pull up our website.
Perfect. It'll be a perfect
All
segue.
right. Well, at Real Progressives, we are a progressive leftist organization that focuses on modern monetary theory. It's a macroeconomic thing with a focus on working class analysis, kind of like socialists, Marxist kind of. I'm not like a big, theorist or whatever, but we focus on the common person, not the oligarchs and all this corporate oligopoly and stuff. But the modern monetary theory is a truth that most people have no clue about. The main facets of it are that we all think that our taxes pay for the federal government and what they do to for the defense and education and everything else, but our taxes do not fund any of the spending from the federal government.
Say what? Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
so then most
we're
people
all
are going to
taught that.
immediately say, oh, and Ben, thank you. You figured it out, Ben. Yay. So I'll have you share too after.
Yeah, and do I sound okay, by the way? Hello?
Be a part of it.
No problem. You can turn on your camera too if you want. Now don't be shy. Rodney has his on.
Okay.
But anyway, so Rodney, explain, because growing up, we all get the propaganda not only of history that is fake or incomplete about the world and governments and countries and movements and peoples, but thank you, Russ. You can hear him good. But we're also told that we can't get nice things unless our taxes are taken for them at the federal level. So what do you mean? Because, when you say this, so many people are going to be like, I know when I first heard it, I was like, what? That can't be true. Like, we all want universal health care. I guess we're going to have to just increase taxes on the rich, right? But tell us why that is not correct.
Yeah, I mean, our entire lives, we're trained to think that, our hard-earned tax dollars pay for A, B, C, or D, and they guilt us into thinking that amount, like the debt and the deficit, are hung around your grandchildren's necks, that they're going to have to pay this debt off, when actually that's not true at all. When we pay our taxes, they're actually deleted. Like every time that you are taxed by the federal government only, not state and local, but when you pay your federal taxes, they actually just get deleted out of the money supply. And the national debt is actually the equivalent of every dollar that's ever been spent into the economy, right? Ever since we came off of the gold standard, like in 1970s, I believe, the Bretton Woods Accord. Well, so every dollar doesn't equal like an ounce of gold or whatever. This is just something that we create. So when the government wants to, say, go to war, for example, okay, they just go and type into a computer an amount like 10 billion to Raytheon and 20 billion to Boeing and blah, blah, blah. Same thing if they wanted to do education for every student, or if they wanted to do universal health care for every person in the country, they could just go in and type in that amount and pay for those services without anybody having to spend a dime in taxes. Now, modern monetary theory knows that, well, the biggest complaint is all people get fear mongered about inflation, right? Okay. But
Yes.
taxes remove that money out of the circulation, out of the money supply, so that it does curb inflation. But just because you print money, per se, it doesn't increase inflation. There's numerous examples from like World War II, like whenever we had different things that were going on to fund the war effort and whatever. I don't really want to get into that, but because that's a different, a little too
No,
complicated.
that's true though. No, but I'm glad you mentioned wars because think about it. It's just from what we know about, like not the secret budget, right? But the budget, the military budget we know about yearly is over $1 trillion, I believe. Now, do you notice no one ever in the corporate media or the politicians who are paid for by these capitalist robber barons, they never are concerned about inflation from military spending? Isn't that interesting?
Oh, correct. And what's the one question they never ask when it comes to war? How are you
How
going
do
to
we
pay
pay for it?
for it? Right?
Now, what
And
they
that,
will do is they will draft your sons and your daughters.
oh, exactly. Like I
They
got
don't
two
mind that.
nephews that I'm scared are going to get drafted into this new
I
Iran
know. Me
war in
too.
the Middle East. But they
Exactly.
use that fear to keep us in control. Okay. They make you think that whatever you've paid for in your taxes is going to this, or that to make you get upset and pissed off because you don't want your hard earned tax dollars paying for this or that. And they make up any amount of cultural things to either DEI or sex changes for these people or whatever. They just make shit up. But when all actuality, when you think about it, like your taxes do not increase when they go to war in Iraq or now Iran or Afghanistan. Like they don't have to wait until we send in these checks or you get taxed enough in order to do those things, correct? They just do it. Okay.
Right.
So they
Exactly.
literally, instead of just printing money, they literally just go into a computer and type it in and that money is there. Okay. Those are those magic money computers that Elon Musk was talking about early last year and that during that Doge thing, the Department of Government Efficiency. And he accidentally tripped over that. And it's true. They just create the money on a whim. Okay. Now, it's not that you can just go in and willy-nilly just create as much money forever without having any, negative consequences. But the biggest thing that I want to get through to people is that it's not your taxes that pay for the things that happen. We could fund anything as long as we have the resources, land, labor, fossil fuels, technology, whatever. As long as we have it, we can afford it. So basically, the government can never go broke.
And it's interesting you say that because what are wars usually started over? Resources. Because for capitalism, or if you're not familiar with those terms or if that's alienating for you, I just think I say rich corporations. It's never enough, right? The resources are never enough. They always want more. And in that case, printing money is not enough. Like they always they want to control all the minerals in other countries so that they can extract, and make things to make. Well, it just is like this never-ending monster that always wants to eat and destroy, and that's a big part of why we see, like even Iran, same thing, right? Like it's nothing ideological to help the Iranians. It's just because the U.S. wants to control the region, the land, the resources, the access to oil. Because we don't have infinite oil resources.
Yeah.
Just like we talked about the draft, right? Like why did they have the draft for Vietnam? Well, because you cannot print money to make soldiers. That is something, like you said, the only things that limit us are actual resources, like raw materials, people, labor. Like if we had, like we need more nurses, right?
Yeah, they have to be there, exactly. And if you see what's on the screen now, I don't know if the audience knows, the few people that are on here, but do you know who this is?
Yes. I've seen some of her videos.
This was Bernie Sanders' chief economic advisor during his 2 campaigns. Okay. And when she's telling her the truth is, we're not broke. The US dollar comes from the US government, not from China, as we're led to believe. Like we have to borrow this money from China or borrow from Japan or whatever. That's a lie. The US government is not revenue constrained. So we don't get our revenue from tax dollars, from billionaires. Like we don't need the taxes from billionaires in order to do anything. They could all leave and go to Thailand and it would not hurt us at all.
Right. If anything, our society would probably be better off.
Yeah, go. Yeah, go Bill Gates, go Elon Musk, whatever. But the federal government is the currency issuer and not the currency user. The currency users, you and me, the state, local government. Now your state and local taxes, they do get used to pay for certain services and whatever, but not federal. The federal government could go and fund every single state and local entity in the country.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't cost us a penny as long as we have the people to do those jobs for those services. We would be completely fine and inflation would never go up. Inflation only goes up is when you're competing for the resources. Like if you have a limited amount of, remember during COVID when the toilet paper fiasco was going on? Well, if you don't have enough toilet paper, yeah, people are going to fight for that resource and the price is going to go up. But if the government, along with proper planning and all this, I know people get scared, central planning or whatever, but if you plan correctly, we could have all these people that are trained nurses and doctors and having hospitals and build them all. And actually prices could go down as long as we have those people and those, equivalent resources to do the things that we need to do and help people out. We wouldn't pay anything more for it, actually pay less. People be happier. And we just need to break these myths that we're all living under.
Well, I was going to say now one thing. Now, don't forget, because with COVID, oh Lord, okay, hold on, TikTokers. I will be right back. Let me just see if the dog actually has to go pee. He's driving me freaking nuts today because he keeps hitting his outside button, but it's very muddy out there. And then I take him outside and he doesn't go to the bathroom. I'm like, no, you're not just hanging outside. I have to like put him on a leash because puppy. Of course, why do you have to wait until I do my show? I just took you outside. Come here. Do you actually want to go outside? Look at him. Look. I don't know what he wants. Never mind. Okay, then you're not going outside. You are so funny. I'm not giving you any more attention right now. You can sit next to me. That's all you get. I don't know what his deal is. I swear, he's like my little 2-year-old. Sometimes I'm like, what do you want? What do you want? This dogs could talk.
Whatever happened to that dog that you saved a couple weeks ago during that?
I don't know if she ever got adopted, but she got safely to a shelter. So
good.
But yeah, I didn't see if she got. Okay, we're back. False alarm. He didn't really have to go to the bathroom. Surprise. Oh, now he sits on the couch next to me. Look, the little butt. Look at you. Oh, looking all innocent. Of course. Anyway, he's so funny. So yeah, I'm sorry. What were you saying now? We were I wanted to mention about the with all the COVID funds that got printed, the money that was printed. Right. Then you notice in the corporate media, people were saying, "Oh, we can't do that. It causes inflation." But what really caused that inflation was the fact that we have corporations that control the basic necessities of society. Like we have a handful of corporations that own most of the grocery stores in the country. So when they see a chance to price gouge, really, that is like with the toilet paper. When they see a chance to price gouge, they will actually limit the quantities of necessities that we need. They'll limit them because they're like, "Ooh, this is a perfect time." They'll limit production and then they'll raise prices because they can, because we the people don't step in to stop them, right? Through our government, because our government serves the corporations instead of the people. But I really wanted to clear that up because that is a common frustration that, of mine, I hear when people complain, and they're like, oh, but we can't do that. We think we're just going to print money. That's stupid. That causes inflation. No, it doesn't. The reason why we have this inflation is because of all the corporations that control our necessary materials. It's a very dangerous situation because the stuff that we depend on, like housing, food, um, even in some places. Now, luckily, we have a lot of corruption, but like our water here is still publicly owned. But in many places, private companies control water. I mean, it's just like it's just crazy.
Yeah,
And the
we've
other
got
thing I wanted to
stop
mention. Oh,
privatizing all the public resources that we have.
exactly, because again, the goal is to get the control of the resources into private hands so that a few people can get control. And that's why, socialism, communism, those movements are the opposite, right? They want to get the control of the essential resources of life. Like you could still have your little business, if you want to sell some food or do this, but the things that are like absolutely essential, like in China, they call it the what's the term? They control and I'm forgetting the term, but like the things that are essential to survival in the society. So the Chinese central
The
bank,
essentials.
manages, like real estate and uh the banks and just everything basically to keep billionaires in check and keep
Necessities.
corporations in check. What's that?
Yeah, the necessities.
Right, exactly. So what was interesting is that we in Illinois, even with all the horrible corruption here in Illinois and Chicago, through all that COVID money, where they were printing a whole bunch of money, we got a lot of like good things done. We were able to expand Medicaid. There was a lot of building that went on, infrastructure projects. There was so much that went on. And it's funny now because now basically the money's run out, and a lot of the public boards, the state and the local boards, are like, oh man, what are we going to do now? And it's so funny because, like you said, all they did was literally just push a button in a computer
Mhm.
and say, print this money, and then we're going to give it to the state of Illinois or we're going to give it to the state of Missouri. Like that's all they did. And then now it's like people are losing health care and all these other things, and it's just because they don't want to bother at the federal government. They can't just push it. They don't want to push a few buttons. They basically want us to starve, and they want us to be begging them, because then we're not going to be in a position to to have control over our own lives. But isn't that crazy? I mean, we were never taught this stuff in school.
Yeah, they use austerity measures to keep us in control. And all of this money that they're spending for whatever wars or whatever Trump's got, it doesn't matter the president, but right now, whatever they're doing to fight ICE, and the ICE budget is bigger than any other military budget, maybe besides China worldwide. The ICE, but the ICE budget is like bigger than the FBI and the NSA and all those budgets combined right now.
I don't doubt it. Well,
Okay.
they really want to make that, I feel like, the SS, the actual,
Yeah,
I think that was their vision, the actual stormtroopers,
And what they do in Congress, so these just sick Republicans and corporate Democrats, what they do is that money now is being shown to the American public that, oh, we're using it for this. So then they go, oh, we got to take it away from healthcare. We got to take it away from schooling. We got to take it away from local services, right? No, They don't have to, because we create their own money. It's not a tit for tat. It's not a zero-sum game where this person gets it and the other doesn't. They do that just to be cruel.
Right.
They
And
do
like
it
you,
to
and you, like you said, to keep us in check.
people for pain, to hurt us.
Yeah.
Because if somebody's hungry, they're going to be desperate and they're going to need to fight for it. It's just like, it doesn't matter if you need something to survive medically, it doesn't matter what the price of something is. You're going to pay whatever it is to not die, right? So that medication could be $2,000 a pill, and you're still going to pay it. It's an inelastic demand where it doesn't matter what it is, you're going to have to pay it to survive. And they know this, and that's how they control us. The guy that started our group at Real Progressives, Steve Grumbine, his tag on social media is austerity is murder. I mean, it's not directly putting a gun to somebody's head, But just like that
It still is, though.
CEO from
Yeah.
United Healthcare last year, right? When Luigi did a due diligence and did something that I'm not going to disapprove of, he actually kills more people yearly than any mass murderer that's ever existed.
Right.
I mean, 80, 90,000 people die every year of not having health insurance because they can't afford it. And we're the only country in this world that has it like that.
And it's,
All the
it's
other
hidden
major countries,
behind the guise of you know, corporate media. Hey, Chris, Kirst, welcome, and Curtis. The corporate media hides it behind the guise of, you know, oh, that's just how it is, and you know, he's a good corporate steward of limited resources and all this BS, like white collar. I feel like that, you know, they paper over the reality, like you said, of murder. It's like, no, it's murder. It doesn't matter how many journalists you pay to make it sound legit.
yeah. I mean, it's indirect, but it directly affects tens of thousands of people's lives.
Exactly. Now, who is
They
this?
are.
Who's Fidel Kabub? Who's that?
Oh, this is a great progressive MMTer that he is actually an activist. I don't know he's a professor, but he works with African nations, trying to get them away from the what is
Like
it,
IMF and Western.
IMF loans and stuff under those
Yes,
really
total extortion.
horrible.
By the way, that's all total.
Yeah, trying to get them out of those bad deals and fight, to get all these, huge imperialist countries like us and Great Britain and stuff away from those poorer African nations so they can defend themselves. But if we had a better knowledge of macroeconomics and knowing how MMT works, we could do the Green New Deal. We could do the job guarantee, Medicare for all, reparations for those that we have subjected and genocided over, our course of our country.
Oh, I'm glad you said that, because that's a big issue here. I know we have a lot of local politicians, some of whom are very corrupt, but some are not as corrupt, and that's a big issue for the Black community here. I know is calling out for reparations, and we even have a suburb, Evanston, Illinois, that passed a reparations ordinance, and you have to, I think you have to have had lived in Evanston for so long, or whatever, but they actually passed it on the local level, which is rare to hear. But isn't it interesting that, especially when you have Black Americans that want to bring that up, descendants of slaves, then again, the first thing you hear is, well, we can't afford that, we can't pay for that. But as you're saying, if we understand how our money system works, actually we can. Like, it's like,
Yeah.
what do you want? Do you want reparations for Native Americans and former slaves? Do you want healthcare for everyone? Do you want everyone to eat? Do you want housing for everyone? Isn't that crazy that we can actually do all those things?
Yeah, there's nothing that we cannot afford because we make the money. You've played Monopoly, right?
Yes.
Okay, pretty much everybody has. And even in the rules, I don't know if you've ever done this, but have you ever run out of money in a Monopoly game? Do you know what the rules say when you do?
No, I doesn't the bank just create more?
Yeah, it tells you in the rules. It doesn't happen that often, but whenever you do it, it tells you just write on pieces of paper. They're like IOUs. Okay, that is exactly how the U.S. federal government creates money and pays for things. The game doesn't stop because you run out of those fake pieces of paper that say 500.
Right.
Okay, it just keeps going on. It's like you have a checkbook and you could write any amount on it, and no matter what, it's going to get accepted. Okay, that is exactly how the federal government works. And there's been a big thing over the past year that I'm sure you've heard about it, how people have said, oh, we're just going to not pay our federal taxes, right? We're going to band together and just not pay our federal taxes, and we're going to hurt the government, right? That actually it sounds good in theory, but it's a horrible idea, okay? Because you could withhold the federal taxes from you and I, every person in Chicago, St. Louis. You could do it from every person in the country, and it would affect the federal government's ability to do things? Zero.
Right.
Zero.
I could think of better reasons for doing that. I would do it just as like a strike, as a point to say, hey, we're not gonna you need to be giving us more resources. But right,
it doesn't hurt them.
it's not gonna like
problem
punish
is
the government.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt them though. The only reason to
Right.
do that would be to limit them, to make them bow to your wishes, correct? But that wouldn't
Yeah,
make them do anything.
I was thinking it's just like a protesting saying, I want to keep my money. I want to keep my
Yeah. But the only reason to do it though would be to get them to bow to your demands to do the right thing. But if you're in that situation and you have no clue about modern monetary theory and how the money system works, you're doing that to a person that will never be able to run out of it. Like, yeah, you could withhold $1 trillion from them, and they could sit there and write that check for 10 trillion, 20 trillion.
Right. It's not
They
going
never can run out. It's a resource thing. We have to withhold our labor. We have to get to a position to where we can have a general strike, have banks have money set aside to where we can pay people's rent and pay people's electricity bills when they refuse to work and provide those profits for the capitalists that are controlling our
That's what I'd like to see. Right. I was going to say, I'd like to see more support for people, as I know there's supposed to be, there's a big strike plan for May Day, May 1st. So I'm excited about that. That's a national thing that people are talking about.
And I'm glad you said that. Did you know? I didn't know this till the past 2 or 3 years. Did you know that May Day started like Labor Day? It started in the United States.
Yeah, right here in Chicago at the Haymarket. It was the Haymarket.
We're the country that doesn't ever. We do not celebrate May Day.
No, they made sure to pick a different day because they did not want.
Why is that?
They didn't want Americans to find out about unions.
Solidarity.
Right. No, we can't find out about unions. That'd be the worst thing for them.
Yeah. But May Day is huge in like Russia and Europe and everywhere else. And we started it.
Yep, it started here. And I think we should bring it back. I think we should have start doing our own May Day celebrations. We don't need the federal government to decide. Just do it on our own. Do it on our own. But yeah, what else did you? Oh, you're saying something. I forgot. But yeah, it's an important issue that affects all of us. Oh, I see your email too. You sent. Now, what was this? You said Deep Seek?
Oh, well, yeah. I was just earlier looking through the AI program, and I was asking it if it could give me an analysis on like the factual nature of different news sources. Okay, like having like a centrist, like a CNN, a Fox, and like a progressive outlet like Lever News or Drop Site News.
Did you tell it to use? You were telling the AI to like use those sources?
Yeah. I was trying to get it to analyze, like, say, all the major news stories of 2025 and see which one of those three comparatively, like, who had a better factual analysis, like who was telling the truth, basically. And at the beginning, it was pretty disconcerting because it acted like, obviously the progressive outlet, it acted like, it was like doing ad hominem attacks. It was taking these far right wing outlets and it was using their opinions online to attack the progressive outlet like Drop Site News and just taking it as fact. And after about 4 or 5 iterations, I finally got it to admit that it's programmed by these status quo media behemoths, and that it's not based on fact. It's just based on, the status quo. And
I was going to say, because at the end of the day, Rodney, it's just AI is just a program like anything else, right? So it depends on who's programmed.
Yeah, and people trust it though. They think that this AI is this all-knowing, omniscient, godlike being. But if I didn't know what I know, I would have had no clue the thing was giving me false information, and I would have taken it as fact. And
Have
it
you
actually
tested,
it was
have you tested,
apologizing to me. It was funny.
have you tested the other, Chat GPT at all? That's usually the one that I use.
No, but we should be boycotting that one because Chat GPT was the biggest donor to Donald Trump. And there's actually a boycott going on right now. Of
I thought that
ChatGPT.
that was the most, but which one is the most like affordable, but actually like works and is
DeepSeek is the
not.
Chinese one that they did for like 1% of the cost of all these others in the United States, and it uses
Oh wait, but you just said DeepSeek was
less
giving you the
energy.
crazy
I
results.
know. Yeah, but it still uses the information that's online. It's not that it's doing anything any different than the others. They just do it more efficiently. It doesn't cost as much and it uses less energy, but it's still scraping the internet and all these websites for the information that it has the same way the others do.
Oh no, but I thought you were saying that the programmers of DeepSeek were programming it to be more biased. That's what I thought you meant.
Oh, no. This is just, I'm sure it's the same with Copilot from Microsoft and, Chat GPT.
But if that one is Chinese, wouldn't it be a little better? No?
I would think. And that's the reason I use that one.
I'm glad you
I
mentioned
personally-
that to use DeepSeek because I just have been using ChatGPT because I've tried to use Gemini for a few things and I found that I could barely do anything without it prompting me to pay. And then the other ones, like I would never use Grok, obviously, because that's Elon Musk.
Yeah. Oh God.
But the other stuff I didn't really know either. You know what I mean? I didn't understand what
I use DeepSeek because I feel more comfortable the Chinese government having my information than the U.S. government.
Right. I was gonna say, isn't that true at this point? I would.
Yeah.
I trust the Chinese government way before I trust my own, which is
They can hurt me less than the corporations that are here. So.
And what's interesting is that I found out a while back, but now that I've been studying all this political stuff. But anyway, I found out a while back that we have a factory that is not far from me that they make rail cars, I believe. It's Chinese, and at first I remember someone's like, oh yeah, and they have Chinese spies in there, blah, blah, blah. And now I'm kind of happy. I'm like, oh good, if stuff ever goes down and I just feel totally unsafe, now I know where to go. And it's not far from my house. I can go to the Chinese rail car factory. I'll be like, help.
That's
funny. Give me asylum, please. Our leaders are trying to nuclear bomb our country, because you just never know. And then someone shared on Facebook today. Oh, that's what I wanted to share a little bit of that too. But there was this post, I think Melissa shared it, but reminding people this is the seriousness of this. Let's see, I think it was Melissa. Hold on. Melissa's post. Oh, okay, yeah, I found it. Just reminding people of the true cost of imperialism and these horrible wars and stuff. Oops. I gotta find Facebook. I'll zoom in. Okay, so this is Melissa's post, but I thought it was really good. She said, let me give you all something to think about this morning. When people talk about war or global conflict, they usually imagine random places being hit, but that's not really how strategy works. In modern warfare, targets are chosen based on infrastructure, military value, and logistics, not just population. And that's where Chicago comes into the conversation. And I would add also, areas like St. Louis and everything, they're not that far away, right? Chicago, and actually some of these sites you'll see are not far from you. Chicago is one of the most important transportation hubs in the entire United States. Railroads, highways, shipping through the Great Lakes, major financial institutions, and a massive industrial base all run through the city. Illinois also houses Rock Island Arsenal, one of the U.S. Army's major weapons manufacturing facilities. Ouch. Yeah, that's like not good. And Scott Air Force Base, which runs Air Mobility Command, the operation responsible for moving troops and equipment around the world. So when analysts talk about strategic locations in a major war scenario, places like Chicago show up, not because of the people, but because of the systems that keep the country moving. It's a reminder that geography alone doesn't determine importance, just a little something to think about. And so it says potential nuclear war risks in Illinois in a World War III scenario. So you have in Chicago, major population center, defense industry, Peoria, Rock Island Arsenal, Army Weapons Depot, probably about the closest to you, McLean Minuteman III missile field, that's an ICBM missile field, and then Scott Air Force Base, which I didn't even realize that. I'm like, oh, I forgot we had.
Yeah, Scott Air Force Base is right outside of St. Louis.
Yeah, so it's like, ooh.
It was so funny you just pulled this up. Yesterday, I pulled up a map, and it was like on Facebook, interesting maps or whatever, and it was the St. Louis and Chicago area were areas where it says we had the most chance of being attacked first during the strike.
Yes.
I was like, what?
And I wasn't thinking that either. I was like, oh shoot. Like, so that's why I really hope that people realize, especially, and I am starting to see posts where people are worried about their relatives and friends, being sent to Iran and everything, to realize like this is not something far away. This is something that if we don't get active on a local level, because all the federal support, remember, we cannot have a federal government that's in power full of dictators who are controlled by rich people if they don't have their grassroots. It's not really grassroots, but the power base underneath, right? So if we get involved locally and we ensure that the people are really pushing things locally and not corporations and not corrupt politicians, then it's going to make it that much easier to overthrow all of these corporations, in our government. Like, because maybe that's a better expression to use. I've been thinking about that as far as better way to explain to people, because sometimes terms like communism and socialism and all this other stuff, because of how we were raised with so much propaganda, they can be loaded terms for some people, and some people will just never ever feel comfortable, or they'll always feel negative about it. So I try to say corporations, corporate a lot, to say, imagine if you don't like saying capitalism, imagine that we have a corporatocracy. We have a world government that is dominated by corporations. So if that helps people, because I think a lot more people have a negative feeling towards corporations for sure than if you just say capitalists or whatever, because of our indoctrination growing up, right? That capitalism's good, which I know it isn't, but I'm just saying, I think maybe that would help us too as leftists to say, what we need to do is we need to overthrow corporations from our government. That's really what it comes down to. And that's at every level. But what I'm trying to tell people is that it starts locally. It does not start with Trump. He's the end result. He's the result of that. Everyone locally has done a horrible job and has been oppressed and has not been united, and it's just been voting for horrible people, and we've allowed them to take our unions away. We've allowed them to do all these other things. So I don't know. I think if we're going to overthrow a corporation, it has to start locally.
He's just the result of all this neoliberal shit that's been going on for decades.
Right.
And I like to say he's like if the United States was a couch, Trump was the black light that you shine on the couch and see all the stains.
Right. And that's why I don't want people to listen to corporate media or people that are saying, oh, just get rid of Trump and they'll fix things. No, it's the opposite. That's why I know that there's good potential, but I also know how we got here and that we're screwed. Because like I said, locally here, like we at least still have a decent amount of union members and some strong unions in the Chicago area. But even so, they're constantly under attack. We've lost so many manufacturing jobs, and the unions over the decades have just not really done anything to stop that. Our leaders. And then you have all locally, we have so much political corruption because they're bought off by local, construction companies, banks, utilities. ComEd is our big utility. And so it's like you can see. So you just take whatever you see where you live and you multiply that on a huge scale, and that's how we have a Trump. Because if you have individual, I remember they even I was reading this article about one state in India. The Communist Party took control of that one state. And oh, salut Bobo. Salut. One state they took control, and they were saying how all these factors of like life quality are dramatically through the roof compared to the other state. But you notice it started locally, especially. That's a great example, because you're never going to see revolution from the top down. Even in Russia, it didn't happen. They have for decades, they had aggressive, and they called them Soviets. They had aggressive union democratic governments in local places, but especially the industrializing cities. They had
It's always the bottom up.
before the revolution took place and took the top out. So I feel like all of us as activists, we've got to get this message out, Rodney, that it's like everybody has it reversed. The change is not going to start by taking a few people out the top, because the whole foundation has to be built.
Yeah, but somehow we've got to find a way to. The thing that's really held us back is just the messaging and the media. Like, they have such a stranglehold on getting that message out. Like,
And that's why we're doing what we're doing now, by the way.
Right. I mean, and even though we do have the internet and different independent sources or whatever, they've figured out better ways to silo us into our own groups and algorithms and everything like that, and divide us even more. But
Right.
You're right. That's how it happens. It's the grassroots and the bottom up is the only way. And we got to scare the shit out of Capitol. I mean, they have to be fearful. And I'm not saying being violent, but they have to think that we're going to be violent.
Right. We just need, we need people to be, Oh, by the way, I wanted to give a little update as well. We don't have any, I reached out to one of my sources, and I have nothing, the anonymous source that reported about the homicide that I reported on last night, and no news, nothing from the city. So it's sad. I'm not surprised. Oh, thank you for the likes, Bobo. Merci pour les likes. But it's not surprising, but it's still disgusting and not acceptable. So we have someone who was reportedly murdered the other night in the first ward, which is where the interim mayor is from. And I don't know how that can happen, and you don't even get, even if it's not true, they should at least clarify, but I've seen nothing officially posted. Russ says, I saw a map of where the nuclear warheads are. They're all in Lake Montana and South Dakota. Yeah, well, a lot of them are in the West, but not all of them. Oh, Northern Midwest, yeah. He's the stains on the couch. Texas has no unions. I know. Russ is from Texas, so he knows how. And I said, yeah, your whole freaking state, the whole state of Texas, like, I mean, it's true probably for a lot of states, but especially in Texas, like, I feel like they don't even hide it. The whole state, and it's a big state, is run by like literally a handful of billionaires. Like, they literally.
It's the only state in the union that has its own electric. They're not attached to the national electric grid, and that's why they had gone out. All those private companies, when they don't do the upkeep and everything that they're supposed to, and the standard, and it fails when it gets colder than normal because of climate change and stuff like that. And you got Cancun Cruz, he's running off to, Cancun instead of helping his people out. Like, they don't have that backup plan, and they've purposely done it. It's like that privatization screws people over. And one of the worst things that happened is people really bought into the Reaganism, to where it said, what's the worst 9 words in the English language? Like, I'm the government and I'm here to help. People have really bought into that over the last 40
Right.
years.
He's such an,
and people just think of government as bad. Well, the government's us. It's what you put into it. It can be right now. Yeah, it is bad. But I
agree. It should be us, and it should be accountable to us. And that's why people will try to sue me and harass me and go after me, because anybody that speaks the truth, is going to be a target. That's also, it's so funny, because I went to an event and I'm not going to name names, but I went to an event where there were supposed to be some investigative journalists. And I thought it was interesting because they were talking about some of the reporting, and yes, there's some great reporting that's done. But the first thing that was raising a red flag is I felt that they seemed way too comfortable. And they weren't, and I'd asked the question about, I said, oh, well, how do you guys handle personal attacks and when people try to come after you? And they were like, oh, they really, none of them felt like they had experienced that. And I'm like, how can you be major investigative reporters and be comfortable? You see, that's the problem that I have with a lot of our local news in the US. I know
my job right.
I don't have freaking money. I'm not rich. Like I don't have money like that. Like I just am trying to barely afford things because interest rates have been so high. So real estate sales have sucked the past few years, so I'm just staying, just working, doing my thing, but I'm not like this rich person with all this stuff. But these guys, they get paid good money. They're very comfortable. And just the whole discussion seems to be just like, oh yeah, this was interesting because when we did this report on the police, and and this was interesting too. Oh, this was interesting too. But it just struck me as like we were doing like coffee chat, and I'm like, I have to watch out for people coming after me physically. I'm like, what world are you guys from? I know you're doing investigative reporting, but it just, you see what I mean? How it's like it seems too safe to me. Like I like the people that are going that like they're like that lady, like the Rachel, the one who talked about kids, and then they were going after her. That's how you're speaking truth to power. That's how you know that you're getting stuff done when they start attacking you. All she was doing was to tell kids to stand up for the kids in Gaza and that they didn't deserve to be
Miss Rachel. Yeah.
That's all she did. But you know what I mean? I'm like, now wait, if someone like Miss Rachel is getting more flack than investigative reporters, like I'm worried.
Humans? Oh, how dare you?
Well, I know, and like I said, I'm really seriously, and I'm not saying I want journalists to be attacked, but I'm just saying I get worried when people call themselves like this is what we specialize in. We're investigative reporters, and we get in with the dirty stuff and the real corruption, and then they don't have threats, and they don't have like, oh yeah, I cover this stuff, and it's really dangerous because of ABC XYZ. Because I know just in the stuff that I cover how these rich a-holes are, and yeah, it's sad, but they will do anything to silence you. Remember what happened to the reporter who came out with the Panama Papers?
Yeah. I mean,
Killed.
yeah, it's
Killed.
Crazy.
Same thing.
Knocking off whistleblowers, and
that's what I mean. So that's when sometimes when I think of like any media, but like for instance, just your average corporate media anchor, and I'm like, you guys really truly are mostly just talking heads being used by corporations, because it's like, where are the death threats? Where are the like, hey guys, I did such a great job exposing this thing that now they want to get me off TV. They wanted to, you know what I mean? It's like everybody's just so safe and glamorous, and
they're not journalists. They're as Amy Goodman. Do you ever watch Democracy Now?
I know I've heard of it. I've seen their posts, but I don't watch.
It's a progressive news outlet. It's been around for actually over 20 years now. But Amy Goodman is the head journalist there. And she has a great quote where she says, the media is stenographers to power. They basically type in exactly what they want.
The corporate media.
Yeah, the corporate media.
Like you should not be, that's why we're trying to encourage more local reporting, because honestly, you should not be, I don't want to say safe again, because I don't want to encourage people to be attacked. But I'm just saying you shouldn't be comfortable. You should not have everybody in your area where you live. Everyone should not like you. They should not be kissing your ass. Like I have a lot of people that don't like me here, but I know the people that do get along with me are the ones that are more trustworthy, because
the money corporate interests shouldn't care for you too much, because you're calling out their bullshit.
or doing things. Well, they're doing things that they shouldn't, And so it's just so funny when I see people that I'm just like, wow, you are so comfortable and you're so popular with everyone. It's like, this is interesting. How are you helping to push society forward at all if you're just going to come across as a even Mr. Rogers offended some people. You know what I mean? Like it just, that's how you know that this stuff is just, people are being bought off.
Well, the Trump administration just shut down PBS and
right, exactly.
PBS, and it's crazy. Like, you don't fuck with Mr. Rogers and Sesame Street, but it's gone now. Right?
They're all,
as far as I know, like, it's gone.
Oh, Russ said there are 1,000 electric companies you can choose from. The power lines are deregulated. Yeah, and it's a nightmare, Russ. You should get rid of ComEd here. ComEd is the one major company, and they're horrible. Your power company
choose your own electric company.
They sell the energy on a stock market. Oh. How did he end up a leftist in Missouri as a non-minority? What is his story to becoming a leftist?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, tell us your
I'm
story.
definitely a minority. I'm like a endangered species in Missouri.
No, he's saying as a non-minority, like as a white man. As a straight white man.
I somehow, I'm like one of the only people that look and like me, my family and all my friends group that has turned to be a leftist. It really, the divide happened after Trump really bad. Like all the people that, I thought were like really good people, they like went toward the dark side. They chose the wrong, and I have lost so many friends and close relationships because I just want to speak facts and truth to power.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Hey guys, I'm just doing my show. Sorry.
Oh, hey, hi, how are you?
So I'll lower you a little bit, but I'm here. You can still battle if you want.
Okay, cool.
They wanted to battle.
All right. Well, hey, I want to hop off here. It was great talking with you, man.
Yeah, and actually that's probably who sent me a private. Oh, yeah. You sent me the thing about real progressives. Okay, got it.
Yeah, that's the article that I like to send to all the new people, like to introduce them to MMT and to kind of get their feet wet with it. And there's some good video clips and stuff on there, and there's like Joe Biden's economic advisor, the chief economic advisor, that can't answer the simple question of why we have to borrow our own money from China and things of that nature, because it's all a scam.
Exactly.
Why would you need to how would you borrow US dollars from a foreign country? You can't. So, and there's some more technical things to go into with that, but
good. And I shared your website too. So check it out, guys. Check out realprogressives.org. They're really good.
Yeah.
And thanks for being on. You'll have to come on again, Rodney. I love it.
Yeah, definitely.
I wanted to show some stuff about it.
Webinar, YouTube webinar thing.
Yeah. No, it's good because I'm live every night at 10. But I'll show. I wanted to show some around updates, but I'll do that. I'll do that tomorrow. I'll put it on the list for tomorrow because I'm glad this wasn't planned, but I'm glad you came on.
Cool. All right, Ryan. Have a good one, buddy.
And thanks everybody. Bonne nuit.
Bye, everybody.